Hello, welcome. I'm Claudia and we're finally going to go over my 2024 wish list plants, what I got, were they worth it, do I still have them, and my 2025 wish list plants. I hope that sounds good to you. These will be in no particular order. Let's get started. Is it just me, or is this time between Christmas and New Year's just like such a weird, fast but limbo time? I feel like, I couldn't find the right time to film this video or to post it, so hopefully it gets to you at the right time that you're ready to receive it. I'm just going down the list on my 2024 wish list plants, just like I noted them in last year's video, and if you're interested in watching that video, I will link it down below. But the first one I spoke about was Philodendron patriciae. I still am not sure if you say patriciae, patrice, I don't know. But Philodendron patriciae is what we will call it for today's video purposes. And I did get that plant. In fact, I'm pretty sure I unboxed it with you pretty early in the year, I think. Not that long ago, we repotted it into this self-watering little straw situation. It was initially doing really good, but I can't help but notice over the last 3 weeks or so, it's not really intaking any water. And it could be from, due to the less light this time of year sort of thing. But I am also noticing, bear with me, that this new leaf hasn't really fully developed, and there's a new leaf already starting to emerge. So I'm not sure what may be happening down there. Maybe time to inspect the roots. Anyway, I did get the plant. I do love it. Initially, I thought that I would be getting rid of it because I got another pendant plant that I thought would replace my want for this one, but I actually think that this is pretty gorgeous. The color is stunning. I love the rippling on the leaves, and I can't wait to see this grow even bigger. So I would definitely recommend this plant if you're looking, or if you like pendant leaves. The next 2024 wishlist plant was an Anthurium vici or vicii. Also not sure of the correct pronunciation of that one, but I got it actually in an import. I want to say sometime in the spring. Maybe, yeah, I think it was the springtime, and I definitely unboxed these with you. I will know all the details of this import because I feel like this import was the easiest acclimation experience I've ever had with imports. I got a couple of other plants in there, and at this moment I can't remember what they were. But nonetheless, I was stunned. This came to me as a pretty big plant already. It's grown, it's definitely more of a, I wouldn't call it a slow grower, but it's not a fast grower either. I get a leaf like maybe every 2.5 months or so, and they're not really sizing up, but I'm not giving it the proper light that it needs. But that's gonna change soon. And now I did learn after I received this that vici or vicii comes in a wide and a narrow form, and it actually doesn't have to do with the width of the leaf itself, but with the width of the ripples. And at this stage, I mean, looking at some of these older leaves, I would venture and say that this is the wide form. But then, like, this is one of the newest leaves in my care, and this looks more of a narrow. So I'm not really sure. If you can see, there's a new leaf coming right here. But I really, so what I wanted to say is, initially when I first got this plant, I thought that I would no longer want my patriciae, but I definitely want both. I'm gonna be adding a new light system to where I have it over above my desk, and I'm really excited to get those long leaves and then maybe confirm whether this is a wide or a narrow form. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. I love it, recommend it. I found it pretty easy. I have it in pond, semi-hydro. Immediately, this is the only substrate it's ever been. I think I had it just acclimating on water, and then I added it to pond, and this is where it's at. And I mean, even though it's not getting the proper light that it should be getting, it's growing well for me. So I really like it. As I'm actually going through this list, I'm realizing that I crossed every plant off my wish list except for one. The next one that I spoke about last year or this year earlier, no, yeah, late last year, is Alocasia Silver Coin Mint. And actually I got this as an import as well. And maybe it came with the Vici, I'm not sure. But it was pretty small. It's grown a lot. It's a fast and vigorous grower. Don't ask why, but I decided to pot it into pon, and it's been doing well. It probably might need an upsize actually. Like, look at this tiny little pot. It has flowered for me. You can see like the little leftover of a flower or of a bloom there. I think I got like 2 or 3 blooms on it at some point, and it's just really pretty. I am excited to see these leaves size up a little bit, but I really do like her. I think she's cute. Just inspecting. It's just some sap, which is good. I mean, not that the sap is good, but good that it's not a pest. Yeah, I like her. I think she's really cute. She reminds me a lot of the Croniana Super Silver, but looking them side to side, they are quite different. And looking at them side to side, I prefer the Alocasia Silver Coin or Silver Mint. I think she is so cute and has been so easygoing and bloomed already. And I probably got her like sometime in the spring as well. Next on my list, I had 3 Alocasias, and the first one is a pink Bambino. This one was sent to me by Succulents Empire with an order I placed of something else, and she just threw this in there. I'm not sure if I opened it with you actually. I think I only upsized it, but I will put in the screen just how itty bitty this thing was. You can see it's still pretty small, but it did sprout a second or like another corm. So there's 2 plants in here. I finally added her into her own little pot with pon maybe 2 months ago, if that. She's very, very cute. I mean, this is one of the most variegated leaves, and then this is the other plant that also has a very nice variegated leaf. I'm excited to continue to grow this out. This is still very, very tiny, and I feel like I got her either late spring or early summer, but again, the plant was so little. I'm almost shocked that it made it. But I mean, she's cute so far, and I'm happy with her. She lives in my Millsbo Wide, and they're so affordable now and so easily accessible, which is really nice. Next on my list was a Watsoniana White Veins, and if you went with me through all of that at the end of last year, I ordered a Watsoniana that happened to be a dark form, and then I ordered a White Veins, and it's the velvety one that I do actually really like. I've shown her to you. Probably the most recent you've seen her is in my houseplant tour video. She only seems to hold on to 1 leaf. She's gorgeous, but that's the deal. But I did get the Watsoniana Light Veins Glossy, and she is, I mean, she's beautiful. There's 2 plants in here. I think I potted her up with you into this situation, I don't know, one of my recent like plant chores or repot videos, but she is just so beautiful. I love the leaf shape. I love the color. The backs are even just stunning. She's just very, very, very beautiful. I mean, I love all the Watsonianas. I think if I was ranking them, the dark form is still my least favorite. And I only say that because the leaves look gorgeous when they first emerge and furl and are expanding. But then once they kind of mature, then they get really dull, and I don't love that. Yeah, I just don't love the way that they look once they're actually done expanding. But this one, so gorgeous. And also the velvety one is very, very beautiful. It's just, I'm not getting something right clearly because I'm only holding on to 1 leaf at a time. and it's a very slow grower, especially in comparison to this one. Also, the dark form grows really, really fast, in case you're wondering. The third alocasia on my wish list, I was rewatching my wish list video just before shooting this one to just kind of see what was on the list and what I said about him. And what I said about this one was, it's unlikely I'll ever have it. So the fact that I have it is really like a pinch me moment. I can't believe it. But it's a pink black velvet. And if you've been out there, you've probably seen that these are much more available now. They are still expensive, but much more affordable. I had credit with Palm Street, and that's how I ended up getting this one. I mean, I still paid some out of pocket, but I paid the majority with my credit over on Palm Street. Also, I blame Palm Street for being able to cross so many plants off my wish list, because they really made shopping they made plant shopping and acquiring these wishlist plants so much more accessible than it would have been the year before, I think. I mean, just more plants came out in the market, prices were down, but then also the deals that I was finding, and I can't remember when Palm Street launched, maybe the year before, I'm not even sure, but I feel like by early spring I was full on into Palm Street, and that's how I was able to find and acquire so many of these. But back to the pink black velvet. So yeah, I got this as a teeny tiny little plant. By the way, this color is gorgeous. And she was growing really well. I immediately took her out of soil. I put her into fluval stratum, and then I transitioned her into pond, as I do. She was growing great. I think I even featured her in like one of my favorites videos, upsizing so nicely. And then all of a sudden it just started growing all white leaves. I think it grew 4 in a row before I decided, okay, well, I need to try and save this plant because this plant is self-destructing. So I chopped it with you, and I can link that video down below. And this is the top cut. So the top cut is, I can't see a lot of roots or any, to be honest. But it grew this leaf. It did retire the other one. And it is the most beautiful, perfect leaf. I cannot get over it. The bottom cut isn't doing anything yet, but that's totally okay. If I can just get one pretty plant, like if this plant was like this, all the leaves, I'd be so, so happy. So yeah, it's just like pinch me. I can't believe I have her. There's only 2 plants left. One of them is Monstera Burlmark's Flame, and I did get a tiny tissue culture one also through Palm Street from Jack's Jungle, and she is a slow grower. Now, is this one worth it? I mean, it's worth it because seeing it in person and the texture and just the detailing of the leaves, it's gorgeous, gorgeous plant. I can't wait to start getting fenestrations and splits on this. I also got a larger one that was a mid cut from LB Plant Collector at a local plant market, and I'll insert some footage of that. But I mean, that other one I've had since July, and it's only it finally activated the growth point and gave me one tiny leaf. That's it. This one I got after that, shortly after that, I want to say, and it's only giving me 2 leaves. So I think it looked like this, and it's given me those 2. So I mean, was it worth it? Yes, but I feel like this doesn't satisfy I love growing plants from small to mature size, but I also feel like at this rate, this is gonna take 10 years. I don't have that kind of patience. So, but I do love it, and I'm excited I can't imagine what I'll feel like when I get its first fenestrations. The cool thing about these that came out in tissue culture is that they are much more affordable. I've seen them for, I think I bought it well less than $100, and I've seen them now go for like in the 50s in the same kind of size that I purchased this one for. So that is the plus of them becoming more available, but you are gonna get them in this tiny tiny stage and it will take time. And the last plant that was on my wish list is a Begonia Black Blood or Black Magic. I'm unclear still of the name of it. I think it's Black Blood. As I continue to research it, I see it named that more than the other name. But yeah, I didn't get that plant. I have seen like small cuttings or even seeds available of it on Etsy, but it's pretty expensive. And I also I guess it's like people I've never purchased from, so I'm a little weary as to whether it's the actual plant or not. So I didn't make an effort to get it. Honestly, I crossed every single other plant off my wish list in addition to all of the other plants that I got this year that I just didn't dig any more into that begonia, and I don't know a lot about begonias to begin with, so I just don't think I was ready to spend that much or to take like that big of risk on, you know, a begonia that I don't know as much about, and I really wasn't sure about the reliability of the sellers and things like that. But yeah, I feel like 2024, if you look back at my like unboxing playlists and stuff, it was just like the year of YOLO. I got so many plants, like any plant that I saw and I loved, it was almost impulse. I will say, to my credit, I was pickier when shopping for plants, but I also very much just allowed myself to say yes to plants that I wanted, and it was maybe a little too much, which is a little interesting that we're now going to go through my 2025 wish list, and there's quite a few plants on that. I am going to be making a separate video probably at the beginning of the year, just talking more about my plant plans and, you know, how I would like my collection to go moving forward. We'll talk more about that in a later video, but for now, a girl can dream. I am going to be referencing my phone. This is just where I keep my wish list, and they are unintentionally kind of in alphabetical order. The first one is an Anthurium Carla Blackie. Carla Blackie, is that the correct pronunciation? So I learned about this Anthurium sometime way earlier this year, and while there are a lot of hybrids with the Carla ranging from all sorts of price points, the Carla, like the pure Carla, is quite pricey, but it is so beautiful. I mean, the photos anyway, I haven't seen it in person, but I can imagine it being just as beautiful, if not more, in person. Like just that dark foliage, that beautiful minimum veining. And I personally really love those kinds of like veiny, velvety Anthuriums. So I just think it's so beautiful. I would love to have it. That price point is kind of ridiculous, so you know, a girl can dream, as I said. But yeah, that is the first one, and it's actually just really funny because referencing my 2024 wish list, I said I don't have a lot of experience with Anthuriums, and I still don't, but I have so many Anthurium now that I'm feeling obviously a lot more confident in taking on those more challenging and rare and special ones. Another Anthurium I would love to have in 2025 is King of Clarinervium. If you remember, I unboxed a couple plants from the green escape and I purchased a King of Clarinervium seedling that turned out to just be a regular Clarinervium that I was a little peeved about. If you want to listen to the whole or watch the whole story, I did document the thing, but the green escape ended up refunding me for that because it was clearly, you know, not the right thing. But anyway, I haven't been able to get that plant out of my head. I think it's so beautiful, and King Clary this year has been just such a stunning plant for me. I've enjoyed it so much, have gotten just so much reward from growing it. I think it's stunning, it's easygoing. So yeah, I cannot get the King Clarinervium out of my head, and I would love to have it. They're not super accessible, and the price tag is also a little hefty, but you know, it's on my list. Moving down the alphabet, I have two begonias on my wish list. First is Begonia paulensis. I actually was able to acquire a paulensis from a Facebook group, just someone that had one available, and she was very nice, shipped it everything. It arrived in not great condition. I'm currently trying to rehab it. I'm also trying to propagate it, but I'm keeping it on my wish list because should I see a healthy one locally or even one from like a trusted seller, I might go ahead and jump on it just because I never ever see these, and I think they are so cool. If you follow or watch Fern's videos, she has the most beautiful pollences, and I have just been living to have one of my own. So that is the first begonia. Another begonia, I want to say, by the way, the black blood that was in my wish list last year, it's not that I don't want it, it's just, it's kind of, it's not as like front and center as these other plants, by the way. So the black blood is not really on my 2025 wish list. Should I see it for a good price, whatever, I might get it, but it's not something I'm focusing on. What I did find this year is a begonia pink urchin, and it's a hybrid. I can note the details of it. And this plant is stunning. I cannot get over it. When I saw it, my jaw dropped. It was just in my Explorer on Instagram, and I just watched it, I don't know, 10 times probably in a row, then went like searching, did a search of the name of it and just stared at it for, I don't know, hours probably. It's so beautiful. It's hairy, it's bright, it just is all of the things. It is a terrarium begonia, so in my head I just have this dream of getting this like beautiful glass enclosure and setting it up there all by its own, and it can be just a display piece somewhere in my home. So a girl can dream, as I've said. It does have a pretty hefty price point, no surprise there. I do think that I found something like a propagate to order situation for it's a total of $100 or something. So that's still a lot, especially considering I am not very well versed with begonias and especially terrarium begonias, but I have to have this plant. It is so beautiful. I actually skipped over my Alocasia somehow. I don't know how I did this. Those are usually like front and center for me. There's only 3 of them on my wish list, but honestly, I mean, there could be more, but even the ones on my wish list are so far-fetched. The prices are so insane, but they are so beautiful. So, you know, I can pretend and put them on my vision board and call out to the universe. If they're meant to be, they will be. The first one is an Alocasia Maharani Albo. I mean, this texture with the elbow variegation, need I say more? They are just so beautiful. My original Maharani is one of my favorite Alocasias. Just, I can't get over the texture. The texture is incredible. And then you add that elbow variegation. How could you possibly go wrong? Now, I have heard that these very easily self-destruct and give you all white leaves. So that's very scary, especially considering the price point, but they are stunning. The very first time I saw one of these, I was just amazed and would love to have it. They're very expensive, so again, very unlikely, but I'm still adding it to the wish list. The next Alocasia came as kind of a surprise to me because I don't like the original version of this Alocasia. And it's not that I don't like it actually, I just don't want it for me or in my space. In fact, if it would tolerate it, I would love it outside, but not inside my space. However, it's a variegated friend, is, oh my gosh, I've just seen the most beautiful coloring of it, and that is an Alocasia Regal Shield Albo. So it has the elbow variegation. A lot of them can get pink in it, and they just look so beautiful. And they're also very expensive. I think corms go for over $100 on these. But it is so pretty. I mean, even if the plant could keep like 3 leaves at a time, I figured I could just designate a corner for it and it would just look so stunning. So I have been kind of daydreaming about a Regal Shields variegated elbow. But the thing with that one is they do grow very large, and they're also super spider mite magnets, but so are all other Alocasias, or a lot of Alocasias, so we can get over that. But that is the thing with, in addition to the hefty price point, but it's so beautiful. And the last alocasia on my wish list, and this is like beyond, I don't know, the stars and the moons. It's a pink Watsoniana. They are so, so, so pretty. So just think of like the beautiful Watsoniana I showed you earlier with like pink and elbow variegation. I mean, the variegation is, or the ones that I like anyway, it's a little bit like the pink black velvet, but it's glossy and like brighter. They look so pretty. I would love to have one if the stars aligned. But again, this one is probably the most expensive out of the 3 alocasias that I mentioned. And I also feel like I don't have that much experience with this glossy white veins Watsoniana, so it would make me very nervous to get the pink variegated, because I mean, imagine something bad happened and it's that expensive. And the last 2 are 2 Hoya. One is Hoya Discipuli, I don't know, I'll have to note it in the screen. And I usually don't like those kind of thinner leafed Hoyas, but I saw one recently where it just looked really nice and bushy, and the blooms on it are so, so cool that I really, really, really would love to have one. I've searched actually nearly everywhere. I did find one on Palm Street, and there's a couple on Etsy. The ones on Etsy are a lot more expensive. The one on Palm Street is a little bit more affordable, but I want to save it to get the right plant for me, I think. I don't want to jump on it right away. I want to see one that really speaks to me and then maybe get that one. But when I saw I really liked the foliage, and then I saw the blooms and I was like, this is very, very cool, and I would love to have that. And the last plant on my wish list, it's a Hoya undulata Super Splash, or silver. The silver one is even harder to come by than the splash. There's a couple of the regular undulatas going around, but the splash I don't see often, and the Super Splash I definitely don't see often. And the silver is very, very expensive. The regular splash is not super cheap either, but definitely more affordable and attainable. And it just looks really cool. I saw a photo of this one also on Instagram, as we do. And I really loved the foliage, just the leaf, how it has a little like etching on them. Obviously the silvery makes it look prettier, and then they have the coolest blooms. So if the right specimen comes along for the right price, that's definitely one I would be jumping on right away. That is my wish list for 2025. The only other thing that I will mention is, should I find a Monstera Burl Marx Flame that is still a petite size with fenestrations for the right price, I would still like to have it, because I don't know that I'm patient enough to wait for my teeny tiny one or my mid cut. But otherwise, yeah, I think, and listen, I'm not gonna say no, or I wouldn't say no to a Monstera Mint or a Philodendron Caramel Marble, or, you know, something like that. But they're not, you know, at the storefront. And I'm really trying to just be a lot more selective with what I bring in, and making sure that I actually really do love it and enjoy it, and willing to be patient to grow them out, and not gonna get, you know, tired or overwhelmed with their care, or feeling unfulfilled and then I start neglecting them, etc. So those are the plants that are on my wish list. I hope it inspired maybe your wish list. I would love to know a couple things. Do you have any of the plants on my wish list, and how are they for you? And what are some other plants on your wish list that maybe I am missing from mine? Because I'm always loving to, even though I want to be a lot more purposeful with the plants that I bring into my space, I do love to learn about plants that maybe are not in my radar. This brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me and for spending this year with me. I truly appreciate you so much. I will be posting my favorite houseplants of 2024 probably tomorrow is what I'm hoping. I hope to see you there. Let's chat down in the comments below, and see you soon. Bye.